AITA for backing out of my dad's Christmas party after his fiancée took my baby to meet Santa behind my back? I live a 5-minute walk away from a mall, and they opened up their Christmas display a few days ago. My husband and I were planning on taking our son, who is 8 months old, there for his first Santa visit this past Saturday. My dad's fiancée is a very self-centered person. Most recently, she tried to post about my pregnancy on social media before I did and confirmed their wedding date, which has since been changed twice, at my sister's birthday party. I'm not fond of her, but she's not usually too hard to tolerate. My immediate paternal family gets together for a small party every year on Christmas Eve. This time, my dad and his fiancée are hosting. I was going to attend it with my husband and our son. Last Thursday, I had a business meeting while my husband was also at work. My dad and his fiancée came over to babysit. I spent some time chatting with them before leaving, and I mentioned our weekend plans, including how we were taking our baby to see Santa. When I got home, my dad's fiancée showed me pictures of herself with my baby and the mall Santa. I don't even have pictures of just my son, she's in all of them. She explained my dad had wanted to take a nap, so she took my son out on a stroll. She went to the mall, saw the Christmas display and couldn't resist taking my son there herself. Let me make this clear, I'm not too much of a Christmas person, and neither is my husband. But she was well aware we were looking forward to doing this with our son. I'm also upset that my dad napped while babysitting, because we wouldn't have had them watch our baby if we knew it would ultimately just be her. And I never gave either of them permission to remove my child from my place while babysitting. I confronted her and said we wanted to take him ourselves, but she acted confused and claimed she didn't realize it was such a big deal and just wanted to have some fun with the baby. My dad also dismissed my feelings and said I was being dramatic. I grabbed my son and told them to leave. My husband was as upset as I was. We decided we wouldn't attend the Christmas party anymore. We'll figure out something else, but we don't want to spend our baby's first Christmas with her. We made it official over the weekend. A lot of my family has replied that they're not coming if I don't, so now my dad is begging me to change my mind. There's still over a month left before Christmas, and I want to sort this out as soon as possible. I don't want to attend, but I also don't want to ruin the party. AITA?
Relevant comment. Unique Poetry, 2018. YTA and I feel bad for the poor lady and your dad and kid. I think that your dad found a woman who you are obviously not fully approving of. And this woman was at your house with your dad visiting and you are okay to leave your baby with them because you suddenly need to leave while they are visiting you and they aren't offended by this and even offer to sit with your baby? Nice people. Then while you are gone the fiancé, who will pretty much be in this grandma role whether you all like it or not because your child is literally about to grow up with her married to their grandpa. I have a stepmom that married my dad when I was 30 and my son was 1. He calls her grandma because it's literally what everyone else calls her when he is with them cuz duh. Has her man gnawed out and is now stuck alone with the baby of a woman she sounds like she hopes to impress? Instead of being annoyed, neglectful or mad. An actual pick-me or entitled or self-centered woman would have called you and made a stink that she was left with your kid cuz your dad passed out. Instead she loads up your kid and decides to let her hubby rest and take the baby out. Does she have her own kids? Doesn't sound like it, but how sweet of her to try so hard and let your dad rest. I am assuming she was smart enough to realize that you taking a baby to see Santa was not for the baby as it will have zero recollection of this. And was for you and your hubby and did not think a grown woman would be so petty and self-centered and thought no harm no foul and maybe even thought it would be nice to document their new grandma/grandchild dynamic, first outing out together with a sweet picture. The fact that you got no pics of your kid and Santa only means she never left your baby alone and probably thought that the solo baby and Santa pic was something you would prefer to have taken yourself. Instead of you being an adult and just openly but gently explaining to her that she sort of stepped out of your comfort zone and while you understand she meant no harm. Next time please just ask before she does anything to offend you again since you seem to be sensitive and this will most likely become a theme until you find a reason to turn everyone against her. You are a spoiled brat and seem to be less than concerned about your dad or his happiness. You are basically making everyone choose between her and you on a holiday and I think you knew you had such leverage. How about you consider asking your therapist to help you figure out why you don't want your dad to marry her and why it's so important to you that you be the center on the family universe to the point where you are now using an innocent and highly unaware child to reject her and punish your dad for trying to make her a part of your family. I will trade you, you want a dad who would never even consider having any of his 4 daughters over for Christmas dinner. Let alone be bummed when I sabotaged it. And the thought of him even staying at my house with my kids at any age if I left while he was visiting me, is just not within reality. I'll take a nap-loving, engaged father who comes over and is okay with you being rude enough to leave while they visit and has chosen a future wife who seems more than willing to help you with the baby and do right by you both while the baby is in her care. She sounds like a wonderful grandma and stepmother, and please stop using your child to get people to behave as you prefer. That is kind of wild, if not abusive, not just mean. So yes, you are the a selfish one at that.
OP. Okay, wow. I'm not nearly as invested in you as you are in me. Seriously, I think this is longer than my post, but you're making a lot of stuff up and I feel the need to clarify. They didn't visit and offered to babysit because I suddenly needed to leave. They came over to babysit. I invited my dad over with that purpose and he agreed. No, she's not his grandmother. Marrying my dad doesn't automatically make her family. No one calls her grandma, we all refer to her by her first name. He already has 2 grandmothers, he doesn't need a third one. It wasn't sweet of her to take my son out. You don't take other people's children anywhere without permission. You want to document an outing? Take a selfie. Don't do the thing I specifically said I was already going to do. She was well aware I was looking forward to take him there myself. I genuinely have no idea how it could be entitled or selfish PF me to be upset one of my child's firsts was stolen like that. She did mean harm. Again, she knew I was looking forward to doing it myself. If I didn't care about my dad's happiness, I'd refuse to be around his fiancée entirely. I don't care what my family does. I wouldn't mind if the people who are backing out of the party change their minds. I genuinely don't care whether my dad marries her. We're all adults. And I'm not using my child for anything. I don't care about being the center on the family universe, what? Especially not compared to my dad's fiancée, who makes literally every gathering about her. And based on your tirade about your own father, you're obviously projecting. You can reply to this if you want, but I won't give you any more attention than this. Update. A little under 2 weeks after my first post, my husband and I took our baby to a different mall and visited Santa there. Their display wasn't as big as the one from the mall near our place, but it was more colorful and they had a nicer tree. We explored the area with our son afterwards, and I came very close to tears watching the way he reacted to everything. We also took the opportunity to get some Christmas shopping and charity stuff done. Overall, we had a wonderful day. It didn't make either of us forget what happened, but I'll cherish those memories forever. In other news, out of the 15 people who had been invited to the party, not including my son, only 4 are still attending, 2 people from my paternal family and 2 from my dad's fiancés, the only 2 she invited. My relatives who didn't back out of the party are my dad's cousin, who is visiting from a different country and staying at his place, and my grandmother, who doesn't seem to understand what's going on. I want to stress that getting my family members involved wasn't my intention. I told both my cousins what happened because we plan Secret Santa for the party every year. That's where the news spread from. There was also a weird domino effect going on with different parts of the family. I'm not coming, so neither are my parents type stuff, which contributed to the amount of people who backed out. Communication with my dad has been complicated. He's blaming his fiancée for causing the problem, but also me for being emotional and ruining everything. The first time we tried to talk, he made a very offensive comment I couldn't overlook, and then accused me of being dramatic over that too. Our second conversation was better, but still didn't solve much. I was ready to call it quits and accept we'd never agree on this, but my dad called me a few days ago with his fiancée. She didn't really apologize. Instead, she reiterated she just wanted to do something fun and didn't think it would be a big deal, but didn't mean to upset me. Knowing her, I didn't buy any of that. I told her there were numerous things she could have done that weren't the one thing she knew I was already planning on doing with my child and didn't require removing him from my place without permission. There was no way she hadn't realized it was important to me, she just didn't care. She tried denying it at first, but she couldn't give me a better explanation. After a few minutes, she started crying and said, "You get to have special moments with this baby every day, why can't I have an hour?" That led to another small argument. In the end, I told them I didn't know what they thought would happen with that call. I'm not going to their Christmas party, and neither of them will ever babysit my son, or any other child I might have in the future, again. My dad has since apologized, specifically for the phone call, but I don't care anymore. I'm done losing hair over this. And I'm done being treated like my feelings, boundaries, and authority as my child's mother don't matter. I'm not cutting ties with my dad, but I'll do whatever I can to make sure nothing like this happens again. And I like the information diet idea some of you suggested. I definitely feel no need to share any news about my son with my dad's fiancé. As for the holidays, my eldest cousin is throwing a small party at her place on Christmas Eve, which mostly everyone who backed out of my dad's party is attending. On Christmas Day, we'll visit my in-laws and then return home to relax with our baby and play video games. Next year, we're traveling out of state to see my maternal family and go to the beach. This has been a very chaotic month and I have no desire to waste more energy on this, so I probably won't update again. I'm not 100% satisfied with how everything worked out, but I'm glad the situation's been mostly dealt with. And this might actually be the most excited I've been about Christmas in a while. Thank you and happy holidays.
Relevant comments. Mayla_99. Why can't she have an hour of special moments? Because this is your baby? I don't think she'll ever get it, OP.
OP. My son is the first baby born in my paternal family in 2 decades, so I was always a bit worried things would get too overwhelming. Turns out most of my relatives are very respectful, but this isn't the first time I've had trouble with her and my dad over something related to my son. And like I mentioned in my first post, she is extremely self-centered. Part of me almost believes she didn't mean to harm me, simply because I'm pretty sure she doesn't think about anyone else's feelings.